Misconduct. Any misconduct, whether it's allegations of VA staff covering up long wait times or cooking the books, I will not stand for it. Not as Commander-in-Chief, but also not as an American. None of us should. So, if these allegations prove to be true, it is dishonorable, it is disgraceful, and I will not tolerate it, period.
Because he is madder than hell, although he didn't say that today, I don't believe. Welcome aboard, everyone. That was the president earlier today. He met with the head of the Veterans Administration, Mr. Shinseki, and you know, came out, and that's basically what he said. Joining us now to talk about that and much, much, much more. Notice I said much, much, much more. And we don't have her theme song today because the monkeys are on strike. Yes, the monkeys are on strike. Mary Matalin joins us. Hello, Mary.
It's a bad time when the monkeys are on strike. How are you, Stevie Wonder?
Good. Great to talk to you again. Thank you very much for coming on. So, you know, I mean, here's a guy who his press secretary 2 days ago claimed he found out about this whole thing by watching television. Same way he found out about the IRS, watching television. Yet we hear he was warned during the transition in '08 about all these problems with the VA.
Well, why would we believe any of his anger? I mean, this is what he says about everything. Wrongdoers will be prosecuted or punished, and it never happens. And in this case, the White House specifically compared it to this is real, unlike the IRS. The IRS deal, turning the IRS on your opponents, that is real as well. Furthermore, it's not only did he lie about that, about when he learned about it, he lied about the firing of the number 2, the Undersecretary Robert Pretzel, who was already set to retire. And thirdly, this is more than Phoenix. It's last, you know, in about a week or 10 days, it's gone from 1 facility to 10 facilities to now 26 facilities. And if you talk to people in the know, there are all sorts of, in fact, I did this week, and I can't say who they were, all sorts of people who have quit working at the VA hospitals. There are good doctors, there are good nurses who have reported these shenanigans and this incentivized rationing, welcome to Affordable Care Act, and nothing ever happened. So it's beyond despicable. It transcends the first and obvious problem, the unfairness and injustice to our vets, but it's the shades of things to come with Obamacare. This is incentivized rationing.
I am so glad you said that. That was my next question. I mean, this is what it's going to be like. I mean, as many veterans as there are many more of us non-veterans. And I always say anybody who puts the uniform on is a better person than I always say that to their face and in their absence. But the point being that if they can't handle this, because all of a sudden there's an influx of returning veterans, you know, from Iraq and Afghanistan. What the heck is going to happen when we all lose our insurance and that mandate finally kicks in and we're all scrambling to get Obamacare? What on earth is going to happen?
Well, this shows what's going to happen. If they have these secret lists, and they have delays and a cover-up of the secret list because untreated is a death warrant in these cases. So these vets are coming back with complicated problems, and the vets that were promised for their previous service have the typical problems that all aging Americans are going to have. None of them are being treated fairly or competently, and it's not for lack of competent doctors and nurses and compassionate people in those hospitals. It's just systemic, and it's a product of rationed health care, which is irrational. You're exactly positively right. And you know what? In the ways that voters just don't understand something, even though there's never been a positive feeling about Obamacare from the beginning, and the intensity of the opposition to it has only grown. They don't really understand until it affects their own lives, or it affects something like this. They can see this. People get this. When Jon Stewart starts criticizing you, then this is broken through. And just at the time when people's premiums are going up, the cost to the government's going up, and it happens to coincide with a midterm. So maybe we'll have have Republicans be able to articulate not just their opposition, but how do we maintain the quality of health care and improve and reform on the delivery system.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's got to be addressed. You watched the primaries yesterday. I want you to give a listen here. If we could get a hold of cut number, let me see, I think this is going to be 40. No, let's not do that one. Let's do cut number 40. Cut number 40 if we can.
The ongoing family feud between the Tea Party and the establishment wings of the GOP festers.
McConnell, who has seen past Senate colleagues brought down by the Tea Party, has waged a ruthless campaign, yet as tough as Kentucky's been, it's even nastier and more personal in other GOP primaries. Oregon's Senate race features establishment favorite Monica Webby against Tea Partier Jason Conger. Webby's opponents have circulated a 2013 police report which featured her ex-boyfriend accusing Webby of stalking him. Veteran Republican Senator Thad Cochran, in the fight for his political life against conservative State Senator Chris McDaniel, has found his bedridden wife now part of the campaign.
All right, so there's how the hysterical left-wing media covers it all. But what'd you make, first of all, of yesterday's results?
Well, let's do a little thought exercise.
Yeah.
Are the so-called establishment candidates running on the Tea Party message, or were the Tea Party candidates running on the so-called establishment message? Whatever the electoral outcome, the philosophical outcome is clearly demonstrates that the Tea Party message dominates. And now all of these candidates who are so-called establishment have won. They have won on Tea Party principles, and now the next step is this crop of candidates is better than the last crop of candidates, but now the commitment to the philosophical grounding and the policies that flow from that have been enumerated, and we got to hold everybody's feet to the fire. This is a great victory for not a movement or a person or a candidate, but for a philosophical order for the greater good. It's a constitutional order, and that's what won yesterday, and that's what keeps winning.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, this Tea Party going down to defeat, and you're so right. I mean, the establishment candidates who won moved way towards the Tea Party, and that is so correct. Let me ask you about how they're treating and what they've done. And it's been established that it was the Democrats who leaked to the press these records of Monica Webby, with a stalking. Now they're turning her into a stalker. And that's perfectly okay. You see, that's perfectly okay because it's not a Democratic woman. And you know this better than I, that if you're a conservative woman, what they did to Palin, you might as well be, a white male is what they said about Sarah Palin. And of course, the same thing if you're a black conservative, Hispanic conservative, you know the drill. But they're taking this woman, Democrats are, they knew she was going to win, and they're trying to make her into this freakish stalker. And that's okay because that's politics. But if you say Hillary the wrong way, with the accent on one of the wrong L's, the first L instead of the second L, then you're a sexist.
That's correct. But the good news is everybody's kind of figured that out. People are more sophisticated than they used to be, and what I'm sure you've heard is everyone has interviews with Ben Carson on his new book.
As a matter of fact, if I can interrupt, in the next hour we will have a two-part interview live in studio with Dr. Ben Carson.
All right, and talk to him about this because he makes this point in the book and in the interviews. The only way to fight political correctness, a dictatorship of political correctness, is to not be intimidated by it, and that's all that this is. It's not about women or minorities or children or elderly. It's about power of the state. It's about a statist agenda, and has been ever thus. And the vehicles are the useful idiots are feminists and civil rights and all these count by numbers constituencies who are the very people that are being ill-served because they're pigeonholed and they're treated separately, but they're not getting any benefits for it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. There was a Gallup poll, Mary, the other day, the 13 most important problems facing America. And, by far, It was all about economy in general.
89% of the people, 89%, Steve. How many 89% issues are there? It's the economy, stupid.
Right.
To quote somebody I love.
I'm sure you do. But yes, and immigration reform. I love Luis Gutierrez. I'm doing a Gimme 5 commentary in this hour about that. He goes to the floor. Another Democrat wanting to save the Republicans from themselves. If you don't pass it, there'll never be another Republican president. You're going to lose. You're going to never win again. Oh, thank you, Congressman. We're going to send you a check from the RNC. Immigration reform at the bottom of the list. I don't even see climate on the list. I mean, they're so out of touch, the left is, on these issues. It's amazing. But the Republicans better realize it.
Well, we keep having the same
I
conversation.
know.
But it's like, I don't know if they don't read their own polls. It's people agree and have agreed with the conservative, constitutional, common sense, philosophical approach to government for our entire history. And in modern politics, in every single cycle, it's not a right or a left or an R or a D. All the parties are equally poorly perceived at the moment. The largest growing party, if you will, are independents. People want outcome-based policies, and limited at that. So I don't know why we let them, and we've been doing this for some time, and it's ridiculous. They set the agenda, and we just do a little bit less of their agenda. Because in the absence of being able to articulate our own agenda, which comes full circle back to our first conversation. The Tea Party people are different in substance, or rather in style, not substance.
Right.
But we've got to articulate, which not miraculously, happily, we have to articulate what the American people already believe. They don't care about these issues that someone has decided, the media or Democrats have decided that this is what people care about. They do not care about
Absolutely right.
anything other than
The
they
economy.
want to get back to the old normal, the new normal of 16% effective unemployment, and the greatest number of people dropping out of the workforce in our history,
is
and
unacceptable.
college graduates not having any career opportunities. That's not the country we grew up in.
We got 1 minute left. Let me ask you about Bill and Hillary. They fundraised and stumped for Marjorie Margolis, their in-law, who tried to regain her seat in Pennsylvania, and she lost. Should we read anything into that?
I never believed in coattails unless it's sort of a presidential year, and it's not even about the top of the ticket. It's about the organization. But you can read what you want into that, and what I read into that is people don't want yesterday; they want tomorrow. And I don't mean to be cliche, because yesterday didn't work, and we want outcome-based. And I don't. Everyone's so obsessed with Hillary running in 2016. I hope she does, because we'll beat her soundly.
Sounds good. Mary, Mary, where you going to? Love you. We'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Mary Matalin, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, the wife of imprisoned pastor Saeed Abedini and her attorney. Don't go away.